All right, everyone. It's time for another exciting episode of Rotgrind. Welcome, everyone.
Almost harvesting season.
To the last episode of season 3 of Rotgrind. Thank you all so much for staying with us for such a long time. Coming to the live streams, watching the YouTube videos, all the other stuff. Thank you all so very much for just saying hi, just coming over, saying hello, supporting us the entire time. We've been at this for 3 years-ish, more? No? Like, a while? It's like a good while, like going through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations and smashing our heads up against rocks and all that other fun stuff. But thanks, guys, for playing Rotgrind with me.
It's our delight to play Rotgrind with you.
Yeah.
Of course. Why would we not show up to a fun time filled with happy characters to whom nothing bad ever happens?
Yeah, nothing ever
I'm driving a car.
goes wrong. Every look at
I gotta go.
person.
Bye.
Where's it going? Where's it going?
He's going somewhere. So I'll fix the bit bars there. Sorry about that,
Millions
chat.
must smile.
So with that, everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Rotgrind. I'd like to introduce you to the amazing players that bring you the show, starting off with Odoroshi.
Hi, hello, it's me. It's Odo. I am playing Vina, the sylph swashbuckler. Very excited to be here with you guys for this final episode before our big hiatus. And I think the Swashbuckler remake is going to be out by the time we come back? Question mark?
Looks at Thurston.
Sure will.
Fuck yeah! I'm so excited for that. So, yeah.
Same with the Alchemist, actually. Yeah, those are both gonna get some loving. Not the Magus, though.
Fuck that guy.
Tannhauser gets nothing.
Please.
If anything,
that
we're taking
fucking
away the
blast.
Magus' ability to cast spells.
Yeah,
makes
that seems
sense.
fair.
That's a very flavorful choice, Thirsty Gentleman.
Yeah, you're
Of
welcome.
course, something to
I
be
pushed
excited
for it
for.
internally.
Something to be excited for. It's HulkyKrow.
Hey, that's me! I'm HulkyKrow. I'm back at it again, playing, as always, the Kanrasu Cleric Rehua. And, man, aren't trees grand?
And speaking of Grant, it's Earndil.
Hello, I'm Earndil. I'm playing Baldrick Weathers. He's an alchemist.
Then of course, he's left me with nothing. It's a terrorist. It's Speaker.
I am a terrorist known as Speaker D. If my demands are not met, you will feel the consequences, as will all of the inhabitants of your city. I play Tannhauser. You know who I am at this point. I play Tannhauser. He's the Magus. He's the robot.
He's
Okay.
the red guy.
Yeah.
It's the red guy.
Yeah, corn.
The famous red guy.
From Cow and Chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't
Make
wear
me start singing
pants.
Wesley Willis.
Of course, the one hopefully still wearing pants is our illustrious game master, Thurston Hillman.
Shorts, actually.
They're comfy
It's
and
hot.
easy to wear.
It's true. Hello.
And of course, I am your host for this evening. I am ZoranTheBear. I'm playing Orin the Strix Druid. Now, Thurston, you did tell us that we leveled up. I have something to admit to you.
Yep.
I've been so busy and I didn't level us up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, God.
Everyone's still leveled up.
Oh, no!
Guess you don't go into this next session with the correct level. What could possibly go wrong?
Kill us again.
I forgot.
I also find.
See, this is what I deal with. This is what I deal with, chat. This is
Listen.
We're not respecting our game master. But when we come
I
back,
leveled up. I just forgot to put my feet in.
yeah, when we come back,
Odo's
it'll
half
become more
leveled.
relevant.
I didn't level up for this one.
Yeah, it'll definitely make more sense that we're level 10 in the new season and stuff. Or come through and stuff. But of course, it's lovely to see everybody. Who would like to give a quick summary, or I can, if people don't want to, what happened last episode? We'll try to get
Why
back
don't you
into
give
it.
a recap, host?
Okay.
Yeah.
You should show that you guys do it.
Yeah.
So what happened last time? This episode of Rotgrind. Yeah, we'll play that. We'll see if it works out. No, that won't work out. We're doing something different. I got it.
Okay.
I had like a different one set up. Okay. Last time on Rotgrind, the city of Outset was on fire. Us and the rest of our lovely band of chucklefucks charged forth to deal with our top-hatted wearing friend, who is now possessed and consumed by Uncle Blaze. After a fierce battle, a burning battle, of Thurston trying to hit a fire drake who was immune to fire, but then we found out that the rest of the party was not immune to fire, all of us nearly perishing, we eventually came out on top. After coming out of that fierce battle, being left with an ultimatum to either attack and die now, or to be left alone to see how the future of Outset will now expand. Due to all the old gods now being captured. Unfortunately, our party was left debilitated, thinking that we were played the entire time by someone that we sheltered inside of the People's Duplex. After escaping from the multi-elemental amalgamation that's now chased our adventurers away, Gorgamonger was sent off to keep it at bay, giving our heroes a chance to escape. Now we return to our heroes, now left broken. Even though they survived the battle, they may feel defeated, at a loss as of what to do next.
Excellent. I mean, yes. One little asterisk, just to note, the city of Outset is not on fire. You went to the smoldering city, the attempt at building a city outside of Outset, the ruined sort of city that had come ablaze. So you're actually running out of the smoldering city, having escaped sort of back in the near solitude between the smoldering city and Outset. Short little
yeah, just a little correction there. But of course, I think we are still running, and I assume we are running back to the only safe place we know, which is the People's Duplex.
Well, I believe you're in the swamp right now, making your way back towards the city and finally kind of catching your breath, having escaped the immensity that is the smoldering city, which is now ablaze, bringing us all of you together with the storm clouds in the sky and the immense walls of Outset off in the distance. Finally, with a chance to sort of catch your breath, having gotten far enough away.
We need to sit down.
That architect. She played us like fiddles! She'll pay for that. They'll all pay.
In time. In time, we will no doubt have our vengeance upon them. But we needn't waste time worrying about how we will issue that revenge right now.
For now, let us see to our wounds. Everyone got out all right. No one is seriously injured.
I'm hurting, but I'll make it. We just need to find somewhere to make camp, batten down the hatches, and see if we're not killed in our sleep.
Orin, Thurston.
Yeah?
Seeing his friends in quite dire straits, he's internally, Orin's a bit tormented because of everything that's happened, and also not knowing if Gorgamonger is alive. Orin just kind of like he toughens up, basically. He's like, I got this. My friends need help. I like to roll a survival check to see if I can find some place. Maybe there's like a little cave area or some place where they can get just a little bit more comfortable than in the swamps.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a survival check.
Orin rolls and gets an 18 on the die for a total of 37.
Yeah, you managed to find a rut of sort of old stonework, some trees. It's enough cover to shelter you from the sort of constant precipitation here. You believe the stones here are offshoot of some tower. In fact, as you check it, you remember tales, in fact, of a gnome who once traveled the Solitude, who constructed various edifices trying to get a sense of exactly how big a building would piss off the old powers outside of Outset. This was probably one of those long abandoned experimental sites, but it's enough for you to get some cover off the main drags and roads and away from predators and whatnot here.
While Orin is tending to everyone and is getting the stuff for the medicine together, I'm presuming the rest of the party is more or less together, right?
Yes.
Because a little bit like nearby, but not with everyone else, Baldrick is kind of just standing off to the side and staring over towards Outset. He has kind of just he's standing very, very still and staring at the big, absurd city in the distance. He has a single alchemist fire in his hand, and he's just kind of like rolling it around in between his fingers as he's staring out at the city at it. Can't stand this place.
Hey, everyone, over here. We could rest over this way. Orin will lead everyone over, and he'll see Baldric mumbling to himself in the distance, going, Mr. Baldric, we could rest over here. You see Orin will be waving Baldric over to join everyone else.
I can't stand this place. This damn city. Every time it's been one. He's just kind of like raising a finger up and pointing at the city, and he's just he sort of flinches the arm that's holding the alchemist fire for a moment as he's trying to throw it at the city, but he's just kind of he's just kind of grappling with something that's not fully visible at this point. It's every time with this place. Every damn time with this accursed city.
Orin will walk up the Baldric, sensing, like, obviously seeing that he's quite upset, and he'll kind of like put a little hand on his arm, be like, Mr. Baldric.
I can't. And at that point, he does rear back with the alchemist fire, and he kind of just pelts it towards the city. I can't stand this place.
Glass shatters in a field. There's a small fire briefly. It fizzles out in the rain.
He is rapidly unleashing everything that he had in his pack. He's taking out whatever bottles are available. He's got bottled lightning, frost vials, alchemist fires. He's attacking the city feebly and pointlessly at this point. I can't stand this place! I've sunk years of my life into this blasted hole. This rotten, pointless little spit in the face of the rot. They just keep backsliding. Back towards it. Back into the abyss. Damn this place! He continues to throw one alchemist fire, a bottled frost impotently, a bottled lightning. He's not even really hitting anything, but Orin, you next to him, you can start to see his aim starts to get a little haywire. Like
Yeah.
they start to not land on the mark, and in fact, some of them are starting to land really close to where the two of you were standing.
Yeah, Orin will like bird hop over and stuff, just trying to like get in the way of Baldrick's wrath. And he'll come out like, Mr. Baldrick, and he'll try to like, you know, kind of tug on his arm to kind of like not exactly like force him to stop, but it's more of a suggestion. It's like, Mr. Baldrick, I understand that how frustrating it could potentially be, but let's go ahead and get into safety first. That thing might still be coming at us, and we don't want to give away our location.
Let it come at me! What's the point? What's the point of doing anything in this accursed hole? Every time it's one step forward and like a blasted leap backwards. It's unreasonable. I can't stand it anymore. Fuck this place! And he continues to throw, and at this point he's absolutely he throws one directly at the ground at his feet, and it will detonate.
Yeah, and there's like there's a smattering of fire around you. Nothing damaging. At this point, I assume you're able to just craft your like even your low level ones just to keep the stream of physical invective going.
Are you sure? Because I'd be willing to take some damage if that's within character here.
If you're not using your bomber's eye, then absolutely just.
What
feel
bomber's
free
eye?
to.
He can't aim right now. He's mad.
Yeah, so he'll take like 2 points of fire splash here. You don't have to apply your your intelligence modifier.
You sure?
I'm so smart. This hurt. Even when I'm not thinking, I'm still burning myself with my smarts. You can apply it.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's Orin would probably want to step back, or he's going to start getting hit by the splash.
How much does the splash do?
Let me check. What is the damage of Alchemist Fire Moderate? I would have to retrieve it. There we go. It is 2 plus 4, so that would be 6.
So I'll say technically because you have the bobber thing, so it wouldn't affect her. Otherwise, you would down Orin. He has 6 HP left. Or
I mean, listen, if you want to get close to a guy who is patently losing his mind and throwing explosives around with reckless abandon, like that's up to you.
We'll figure this out. Orin
Zoran applies some mud to himself, like, nah, just gonna patch myself up a little.
Orin will come up the Baldric, and even though he drops the fire and stuff, he will cast a 3-action heal in reaction to that, just to kind of like keep, because knowing basically what that's going to do to both of them, he'll try to like quickly just a calming nature wind kind of goes past both of them and goes, Mr. Baldrick, I understand, Mr. Baldrick, but look, the city's not been kind to all of us. I think all of us here have a stake in exactly in how much we've been wronged, either by the city, the people inside of it, how we've been used and abused in multiple ways. I have no love of the place myself, but at least you have us, Mr. Baldrick. And Orin will finish casting his spell.
Cast the heal.
Oh, do you want to cast it? Okay.
I mean, I assumed you were, unless you just wanted to let me have that.
I was going all role play on it. Okay, we're gonna do 3-action heal. 30-foot emanation.
Nice.
We both get healed 14.
All right. He continues to just kind of like storm and fume at the general area. Just get back! Get back! I can't stand being around anything right now. And again, more of his inventory is fine. I left that battle with a lot of bombs still in my inventory, by the way. Like, I have a lot of them.
Orin will take a step back, and he will look to the rest of his friends, seeing if Tannhauser, Vina, and Rehua have taken shelter in the place that he indicated.
Yeah, Vina's just kind of been quietly watching and seeing Baldric kind of still fuming. She's gonna very gently put a hand on Orin's shoulder and lead him a couple of steps backward. Why don't you let him be, bud?
Orin,
Probably for the best that he takes his time for himself, buddy.
yeah, but
I know,
I know.
but he needs to feel this out.
well, I'm gonna sit here. And Orin refuses to go inside of the shelter. He finds like a nearby like bush or something that'll support his weight, and he'll sit there, like still in the distance of Baldric, just to give him that, but just to be there in case anything goes wrong or if Baldric needs anything. It's like, because Orin kind of shakes his head if anybody tries to tug him, and he's like you don't leave friends alone. You can give them space, but you shouldn't leave your friends alone.
Of course. Just space is probably best, seeing the many small explosions going off slightly ahead. Yeah. Space.
The sound of shattering glass and explosions of various elemental natures, and Baldrick's kind of half maddened, half despairing, ranting and raving at a big, stupid city in the distance. Basically, the only people who are audience to this is you guys. He'll keep at that for a while. So you will likely want to discuss between yourselves some other things.
Can't blame him. Really can't.
No, Go on.
Oh, sorry, I fully interrupted you.
No, I interrupted you. Don't have to apologize. It's okay.
It feels like just yesterday, he and I were talking about how much he just wanted to live quietly. How much he thought, maybe we were finally getting out on the other side of this. That maybe we were making a difference. That finally he didn't have to be chewed up and spit out by this fucking place.
We've not been spit out yet.
Haven't we?
No.
No!
Not yet.
And I won't allow you to speak that way in my presence. We have been derailed. Yes, we have lost a battle, but we still breathe. Our hearts still beat. And our dearest Marlene has made a critical error. She delegated our destruction. We are still alive. And we are still powerful.
Maybe.
It is... Well, And Rehua kind of reels back for a moment at the mention of us still being powerful, and for the first time, he feels a level of distrust towards Tannhauser. A lack of faith would be a better way to phrase that. And he turns around looking towards Baldric and the city in the distance. I'm not sure if I believe you, Tannhauser. Forgive me, but I don't know if power would be exactly what we possess right now.
Right now, Rehua, We are beaten. We are bloodied. We have lost much. Yet we still retain much. We have the revolutionary movement, the bits that moved outside of the walls. We know where we can find an airship. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Look at me. I was broken. Not even my bones were brought enough. They were shattered so severely, I don't even retain a single ounce of them in my arm. My body, my lungs, my innards, all of it, shattered on the sands by a slave master. And look at me now. How much I had to struggle. How much I had to crawl my way back from nothing. I owe much to those around me who uplifted me. The great Lady Zale, who made me more than just a barbarian, who brought me back to life from the dust. And the woman who engineered her demise is laughing to herself, supping from the cup of victory, and you, because you feel powerless, want to turn your back on me and deny what you can grab with your own two hands!
I am not denying what we could do, Tannhauser. I do not deny you your resurgence from nothing, from being broken, beaten, and left for dead. But I'm asking you to take a moment and consider our position, not from a position of resurgence or blindly throwing ourselves at the machine, but take a pause. We are not beaten yet, no. And we have not lost everything, and we are not giving up. I have no intentions, nor did I state I was going to give up. But I think it merely calls for a change of perspective. I need some time to think about this. And Rehua will start off towards the thicket and kind of ruminate on what's going on. I'm not leaving, I'm just... Before you go chasing after me, I'm not going away, I just...
Take your time.
Give me a moment.
Rehua, take your time. For now is not a time for attack. It's not a time for assaults. But do not, my friend, allow despair to conquer you. For if any of us permit that, it would be better we had died in the flame. There is so much more to do.
I couldn't agree more. And Rehua will continue off.
I wish I shared your optimism, Tanny. But what happens to us now? What happens when there's another Iron Baron? When there's another bullet from the guns that killed me? What
Then
happens
we
when there's
die.
another...
Vina.
We don't get that chance again, Tanny. You don't know how many times I've stared death in the face. And only by sheer dumb fucking luck have I made it this far. What do I do? What do I do when I'm staring down that barrel again?
Vina, you are still my second in command. You are still worthy of so much more than you give yourself credit. Yes, yes! Should you be dispatched, it may very well be that you will die. But that is the risk that we have asked of all of those that we have brought with us. If you allow yourself to hesitate in the face of that, then Picturn and all the others died for nothing. And I know you. Your care for others will never eclipse. Well, your care for others will never be eclipsed by your fear.
Danny, if it weren't for those second chances, I would have died before any of this. Any of it. I would have died before we left Outset. I would have died before this even properly started. I am not strong enough. I'm not strong enough to take any of that back. I died in their place because I could afford to. I died in their place because that's one thing I could count on myself to do. To drink.
This.
To flounder. And to die.
Pull yourself together! It's nauseating. I know the truth of you, Vina, and it's not this. This madness that is befalling you. If I needed you by my side to die, I wouldn't have had you here. You are not needed for your ability to die or to flounder. You are needed for your sword, for your wits, for your charisma, for your ability to keep this band of miscreants and morons focused on a single goal and pushing forward. Yes! Yes, when we were weaker. Yes! Yes, when we couldn't have the strength that we have now. Yes! You were the first to be undone. And perhaps I am not as kind to you in light of that as I oughtn't to be. Perhaps I forget myself what it's like to face death down. But Vina, do not demur. By the gods, do not demur. Is there anything that you have done, had you known that you would die doing it, that you would not have still committed to? Would you not have cast down the martinet, even if you knew it would cost your life? Would you not have purged the rot from the dreadful home of Sandal Declan, if you had thought you wouldn't come back? Would you not have helped me ferment hope for possibly the first time in that blasted city?
I don't know, Tanny. I don't know. It's easy to be confident when you know that when you know that maybe there's a second chance. And
Vina.
now, the stakes used to be so much lower. The stakes used to be just fighting to make things a little better alongside my band of idiot friends. And now there's this expectation that we could try to fix everything that's been fucked up. I died when the stakes were low, Tanny. I failed when the stakes were lower. I failed on my mother's airship. I failed in Outset. And now the stakes have never been higher. And I don't have that second chance that I would need. I don't have that fallback. If there is another Martinet and she puts a gun to my head, it's over. You don't...
Yes. Perhaps it is. But I go into the fire with or without a second chance. I will face these foes with you, without you, without any of you if I need to.
And I won't leave you, Tanny. I'll walk into the fire, but I know. I know that I couldn't walk out.
Vina.
Stop.
No!
Just...
You are greater than you think. Yes, the Martinet undid you. Yes, you were run over by a bloody car. But you know what? You faced off against a god this evening. And you didn't falter, you didn't flinch, and you didn't need a second chance. You can do these things. I just don't know how to make you believe it.
I don't know if I do either, Tanny. Vina's gonna reach to her belt, unscrew her flask, tip up what's left in it, and walk back to camp.
Okay. I think at this point, I think you're the only one who's in the camp except for maybe Rehua. Were you in there, Rehua? And you walked off as well?
Yeah, Rehua walked off. Tannhauser's alone.
Yeah.
And Tannhauser...
I think you're all kind of alone at this moment,
Yeah.
except for Orin, who's sitting by Baldrick.
Perhaps it's for the best, admittedly.
Tannhauser, steeped in darkness as the rain pours down, looks as Vina walks away. And a grim and abiding flame echoes, embering in his eyes.
I need you all. But if I have to do it alone, I'll do it alone. If I have to kill them all myself, I'll kill them all myself. I'll do it. Someone has to. I'll do it.
And as Tannhauser turns, he reaches for his parchment and he sets himself to work, channeling all of his anger, all of his fury, his indignation and frustration at the impotence of this group in the face of Marlene's schemes, and he is channeling all of that
into plans upon plans upon plans.
As Tannhauser says, he has to do it alone. Orin will pop up beside him and go, I thought it was a mistake joining everyone, you know?
Did you now?
Yeah. See,
For how long?
When I came here to the city of Outset, I didn't trust anybody. When I came here, like, normally everyone I met either wanted to capture me or eat me or do something else. And at first it was a thought of survival, just to try to get out so I can get back to finding my friend. But you all were the only ones who cared. Of everybody that I saw in the city of Outset, you're the only ones who didn't try to eat me or hurt me or capture me or do anything else. So I stayed. 'Cause after I left my home to come all the way over here to find a friend, I thought I would only leave with one. But looking at everyone here, you'll look over to Baldrick in his rage and Rehua deep in his thoughts and Vina and her sorrows. You'll look at Tannhauser steeped in his motivation. Understand it's hard for everyone to lose so much and the fear of what they can lose, but I don't even know if I'm going to even leave this with anything that's mine. I don't even know where Gorkamonger is, and he'll show his wooden hand. I don't even know if I have my friend anymore. But what I don't want to lose is all of you. Because if one thing that I can see is that you all are the light that has been born from this city. And I believe there's a lot more people who have that light. So I'll help you, Mr. Tannhauser. I'm not going to let you do it alone. I don't want to leave them alone either.
I've always felt bad, Orin. In some way. I've always felt some level of guilt. Baldrick is a terrorist. Rehua, I don't even know if he were to be killed, if that would just make him more powerful. Vina, she's a criminal. But you've always been the best of us. The kindest. I don't blame you for not trusting us. When I first met you all, I, truth be told, viewed you as means to an end. My revolution. As if I could have ever composed such a thing with my own flawed hands. I'm sure I would have failed somewhere along the way, or done something I'd regretted, and turned back to the Batland savage I was, and never seen it. But bringing you into this bloody mess, I'd always had my second thoughts, but now I realize. I never was bringing you anywhere, Orin. You were bringing me somewhere. Your camaraderie, your friendship, was something I shall always cherish. You are a better friend than I deserve.
Orin will put a hand on his shoulder and say, let's go be better friends for everyone else. And Orin will walk off to where Vina is sitting. What does Orin see?
You see Vina.
She just Yamcha. Just,
He's exploded. Sorry, I forgot
Yeah.
I muted myself.
just Yamcha.
You get that, it's the point and click adventure. You see Vina. I don't know if I can do anything with this.
I put Vina in my inventory.
Put Vina in bag.
Put Vina in bag.
Sorry for the whiplash. Anyway,
We're here for.
he comes up. Yeah, he comes at the see Vina, and he goes, Miss Vina.
Yeah, Vina right now is kind of sitting cross-legged by the fire. She's downed whatever is left in her flask, which I can't imagine is all that much by now, and is kind of rifling around in her pack.
With fears of the chainsaw car in the distance.
I know.
I tried to stop it.
It's okay.
I tried to stop it.
That
I'm
car
gonna
is a
go out
member
there
of
and
the
blow that guy
show.
up with dynamite. Continue your scene, please.
Yeah, Vina's just kind of teary-eyed, rifling through her bag. I knew I'd put some fucking booze in here.
Miss Vina?
Orin? Hey, bud. Are you okay?
Orin frowns a bit, but he comes over to sit down with Vina. He said, I'll make it through, bud.
Huh.
He'll look down to kind of see what Vina is trying to rummage for, and he'll just kind of like put a hand over and go like, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot of things. None of them very good. God. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know if I can.
Orin will bring his hand over and be like, can I see your flask?
Pass it to him.
Orin will take the flask, because I assume it's raining water, like a drizzle and stuff on us.
Yeah, it's not heavy,
Or-
but it's just like a constant sort of blasting
Yeah.
down.
He will, for this little thicket area where they have shelter in, he'll kind of pull up to where a stream of water is coming through, and he'll fill up the flask. But at the same time, he'll kind of like take some leaves and stuff and kind of grind them up or so. I have to use healing plaster for this. Less of here's mud with worms to heal, but he uses his knowledge of plants and stuff to basically, which I could roll for plant lore if you'd like,
Yeah, sure.
to basically be like, to make a very comforting, like herbal drink. And there's a 17 on the die for a total of 28 because I have plus 11 the plant lore.
Yeah, you can put together something pretty potent as you cook.
As Orin makes this tincture where it's like it might hit the spot, but it's also like super refreshing.
Yeah.
Like
Gotta
very
hydrate.
like very lovely, like lovely feeling and stuff, and he'll pass it over. I
Thanks.
overheard what you and Mr. Tannhauser were talking about, and you know, I'm scared too, Vina.
Yeah. We wouldn't have made it without all this. And now without it. What do we do, Orin? What do we do? I'm not gonna abandon you guys. I don't think I could bring myself to. I don't think I could bring myself to go that low. But I don't want to see all of that happen to you. Happen to me, happen to any of us. For real. When I came back for you, when the Iron Baron got us both, I didn't really know at the time that we really had that second chance. It was kind of just impulse. You're a good person, and you didn't deserve to die, and at the very least, you didn't deserve to die alone. But now I can't stop thinking about what happens now that we don't have that. What happens now that... What happens now that this time it's for real? That if I watch something like that coming for you again, I know in my heart of hearts that there is no coming back from that. I don't think I could live with myself if something happened to you. And I don't know if there's anything I can do to protect you. Not that I've been doing much protecting. If anything, it feels like you've been the one looking out for me.
Orin will doodle on the ground as Vena is talking. And he'll say, I didn't leave my home alone, you know. I had friends. Others who were going to help me find Gorgamonger. And they're all dead. Some were captured. Some eaten alive. Some lost to sea. And I couldn't help them.
So sorry.
He nods and says, and he replies back, but one of the things that still keeps me going is knowing that I can still help others. That in all various lands there are good people and bad people, and if I fear the world that is around me, I'm no longer living. I would think of myself already dead. For I know a tree doesn't think of a storm that may come over and topple it over. It knows that it was able to provide, maybe a squirrel a home. And it's been able to serve its purpose. And for me, like helping people out or making sure that they can survive the days to come or to lead them to a safer place it's good enough for me. But for you, it could be different. I feel that you shouldn't look at the issue that we have now as a detriment, but as a way to teach you to live, to not be beholden from some other entity or something that wants to preserve you for its own gains, but to take into knowledge that it's time to live your life, to live it to as full as you can, even though it may end, and it'll end for all of us. Just take solace that in your life that you're able to achieve so much.
It's kind of you. I don't really know what you and Tanny see.
I see my captain.
God, I wish. God, I wish. Thank you, bud.
Orin will nod. And he'll step up leaving Vina to her thoughts. But he'll turn back and say, I think your crew's with you, Miss Vina. I know I am.
I'm with you too, bud. And, just know that we are here with you. The friends that you lost. Everything that you've had to endure. We're here with you. Despite it all.
And I with you, Captain. And he leaves.
And Vina's just going to drink her herbal tea and stare into the middle distance for a while.
Cool, give me a perception check.
Oh, fuck.
There's worms in it.
A middle distance is full of crabs.
Time for crab.
Time for crab.
By the way, the motor show outside my window appears to have abated, so I can unmute now.
Nice.
I
Nice.
hate these people so much.
That is a 23 total.
Cool. You see some light far off in the distance, probably a torch from a wandering caravan or whatnot that is left outset, just far off in the distance, giving a slight ping of illumination. But that's about it beyond the signs and sights of your own allies in the area.
Does it look like it's getting closer, or is it just kind of in the
It
distance?
looks like it's moving kind of parallel, not closer, not further away.
All right. Vina's gonna kind of keep a little bit of an eye on it, but is mostly just going to sit and brood and drink the delicious tea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My mental plan is I'm going to talk to Rehua and then Earndil, but if somebody else wants to interject, or else I'm going to eat everything up here.
I'm gonna go after whatever you finish up with there, because I actually have a thing that I'm gonna do.
Okay, yeah, that works out, because I was going to round out. So Orin's heading to Rehua. It walks up to him. What does Orin see Rehua doing?
Rehua is alone, naturally, in a clearing, looking up at the fading sky above him as day gives way to night. He appears to be lost in thought, staring out at the growing starfield above. He is not aware of Orin's presence.
Mr. Rehua?
There is no response.
Orin looks back, and he looks back to Baldric. And
You kind of peer out back towards where Baldrick is, and you can see that at this point, the pack and the bandolier are completely empty. He has dispensed with all of his inventory, except you see him hefting something above his head. You see the familiar and frankly unpleasant shape of what looks like a coring charge as he is staring at the city. It's just hefted above his head.
Orin will. I look back to Mr. Rehua, and he'll just kind of tap him like, Mr. Rehua.
Rehua will shake as if startled. Oh. Hello, Orin.
Could you... Everyone seems pretty bummed out, Mr. Rehua. Could you come help me?
Imagine.
You come help me talk to Mr. Baldrick? He kind of looks over, seeing the explosive. He's like, I don't want him to do anything rash.
Of course, I can follow along, but... Orin, if I may, before we go back. Before everything had happened that led to this, what did destiny feel like to you? Did it feel like an unspoken urge driving you onward? I'm sorry this is kind of out of left field, but I've been doing a lot of thinking based upon what Marlene had said. What Dahakis had said even before that. I'm curious.
Orin thinks for a moment, and as he looks up at Rehua's giant one eye, he'll say, I never really felt much of a pull or severe need to go one way or the other, but majority of my thought processes was to make sure you or Tannhauser, Vina, and Mr. Baldrick to make sure everyone was okay. Sure, I could think of one motivation was to still find my friend, but after that, it was to make sure you guys were able to make it the way you want to go. So I
see.
I never felt much of destiny. I always had my path laid out for me because it's what I preordained. It's what I wanted to go down. But I could understand someone subverting that for their own needs, to help others go down their path.
Curious. And here I had thought that perhaps being the odd one out, there might have been something more to the whole destiny thing. Perhaps, some kind of unspoken compulsion that transcended our everyday thoughts and meaning. But I think you may have figured things out for me as well. I think that might have been the missing piece, as it were.
Orin nods and says, are you holding up okay, Mr. Rehua?
Well, much as I'm wont to tell you that I am perfectly fine, I'm also not one to beat around the bush, so they say. And Rehua will look around the decimated shrub that he would utterly ruined. I can't say there's much of a bush to beat around anyway. What was said, what she had mentioned about not even having accounted for me had given me a lot of pause, that I really wasn't even supposed to be here. I've been kind of coming to know everything, and I mean quite literally everything, for the last 3-some-odd years. But having some sort of destiny, something greater to fulfill, spurred me on. It made me feel as if there was some sort of purpose behind my creation, one that I believed I had understood. That I was being guided to some greater, inscrutable end in service of force beyond my own comprehension. And in the wake of sealing a god away, that revelation that it was all pre-planned, at least for most of us, it seemed to stem the tide of belief and fervor. It gave me pause. I needed a much-needed reflection upon what exactly I am, or what we're doing. And so, as I so often did, I wandered out here hoping that being closer to where the anarchy tends to be thickest might have given me some clarity. Grappling with how little I truly understand, how little I thought I knew was so quickly dashed against the flames Gathrim now smote. But I think, in light of all of that, there may be some greater truths yet revealed to us in this moment of failure. Although I think it's something best shared with everybody, feeling their own doubts at this moment. And Rehua will look back towards Baldric, assuming he can see the coring charge. Perhaps
Yeah.
reflecting out here is not beneficial anymore. It's time to put a theory into practice.
Or nods. Orin will turn to Baldric, and Rehua is like, let's go check up on our friends, Mr. Rehua.
Yes, let's. And Rehua will walk back with Orin towards the camp and the others.
Yeah, they head to Baldric, seeing him holding his coring charge above his head.
Yep.
Mr. Baldric.
He sounds like he's arguing with the city at this point. He's not necessarily ignoring everyone around him, but he most definitely seems to be having a one-sided argument with the city based on the sounds of his yelling. And in you catch the tail end of an argument that he is in the midst of having. It's kept on like this for years. You just keep going like this. What do you want from me? You've taken everything at this point. What do you want? Answer me! And he's just going to stand there for a moment. That last one would definitely have been loud enough. I had to restrain myself.
Yeah, you're good.
There. It's definitely loud enough for most everyone else to have heard that. And after just a period of silence, he's just gonna continue to stand there with the coring charge above his head.
Orin will come up and place an arm up near his to kind of like try to coax him to slowly but surely bring down the coring charge. And Orin's like, it's okay, Mr. Baldric. Like, it's like, we're here for you. Then Orin will kind of like look at Rehua and then back and be like, let's just put that down for now, Mr. Baldric.
He doesn't seem to recognize you for a few moments. He's still staring at the city. But after a moment or two further, you can hear him sort of very quietly mutter to himself. So be it. And he'll just kind of lower his arms and drop the coring charge to the ground. It wasn't even primed, but he definitely seems to have been thinking at that. And he goes back to staring at the city. But this time he crosses his arms behind his back as he looks back out over it.
Rehua will walk up alongside him and cross his arms behind him as well. She's not answering you, is she?
Never has.
You know, believe it or not, I know how that is. How many years have you been at this, Baldric?
He tilts his head back a bit. The Thurston, what's the weather like at the moment? Is it a clear night or is it raining?
Oh no, it's been perpetual cloud cover with perpetual precipitation. The rain is not heavy. It's just kind of like a mist that starts to build on your skin and clothing.
Yeah. You can see that there's some water kind of spilling down the side of his smooth-topped helmet. 12 years. 11 years ago, it was college. Then, after that, I was doing what I'm doing now. It's not going anywhere. And that's
I think I've got my answer finally.
I can only imagine trying to get water from cobblestone for 12 years. And here I am thinking I can't even speak the one thing that I owe my creation to for 3. But I know what that feels like. I may not have been doing it even half as long as you have, but crying out to the one thing that you expect an answer from. One thing that issues change, the guiding beacon in your life, only to be met with silence, is nothing short of maddening.
Don't think I don't know it. I've been... I've tried so long to see if I could do right by this city. This place, this outset has been... Outset is possibly the largest, potentially last greatest bastion of sapient thought on the entirety of Tyne. And it seems like no matter how hard I'm taking a crack at this, it seems like it's doomed to be ruled by fascists and dictators. It's just poetic, isn't it? I'm sure there's other places around still that are still doing their best in the face of the rot and everything else. I've looked at historical records and numbers and everything relevant to the longevity of the world. I'm not an expert. I only had scant few years of college before my current profession, but it looks like things are going under all over the planet. And I thought that maybe Outset would be different, that you could just work hard enough to fix the problem. But if anything, it seems like the city just wants this to be the way that it is. And you know what? I'm done killing myself to try and make this city happy. Done trying for something that's nothing. Let it burn. I don't care.
That's the funny thing about change, isn't it? You can try as hard as you may to make it happen. All too often, things just feel too stubborn to know what is best for them. In Outset's case, maybe saving it isn't what the city wants, what the greater forces at play have ordained. But, that being said, even if she won't respond to you, I've learned through the silence to listen beyond conventional hearing. It won't cry out and tell you exactly what it needs. I can't offer you that tired platitude, and there's no sense. But if you're met with a wall, and you can't go around it, can't blow it up, you can't get through it, how do you get past it? And to that, I posit reframing it. recontextualize. Because it's rarely as simple as a one and done solution. What is a wall but a container? Or what can a wall be but a doorway? Could we make something out of that? Could we make a wall standing in a field into a home that we might be able to raise more up around it? Or is it the stepping stone to perhaps some future growth, an overgrown glade? I can't truly explain to you what to do, but perhaps a change in perspective is required.
In the midst of your conversation, Rehua, he does somewhat interrupt as you're getting to the end there. He kind of turns to face you, and he walks up, and he puts a hand just kind of like on your, I guess, bicep, because Rehua's tall, right?
Mm. He's pretty big. He's pretty big.
Yeah.
Rehua, at this point, I'm done looking for solutions. I'm tired. If there's a solution to be had, I'm not thinking of it right now. If I'm still here in the morning, it means I found one. If I'm not, you know the answer. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I have been tired for 11 years. And I have been tired throughout this entire destiny that we had. I am a tired man. And at this point, I'm ready to sleep. Whether that's a natural sleep or a permanent one, I leave to the fates. But right now, I know I'm going to sleep. Good night, Orin. Good night, Rehua. Good night.
And he's going to shuffle off back towards the, He's walking a lot slower than he normally would. He has, like, no energy left in him at this point. He has been admittedly shouting until it turned nighttime, so he's kind of exhausted at this point.
Orin will panic. Can I... Mr. Baldrick, wait! And he'll take his water skin and make another herbal-like tea, and pretty much like take some other herbs and stuff to try to like help him get comfortable, help him with the pain, help him sleep better. And Orin will kind of catch up the Baldrick, even though he hasn't gone too far. He'll come up to him and offer him the water skin, and he'll say, Mr. Baldrick, you've, from a lot of people that I've met or so far, you've been the most stalwart and even forgiving of a lot of people that I've met. And I just want you to know that I appreciate everything that you've done to, even though it was consternation or so, they gave us a home to where friendship and goodness could thrive. You gave us a chance, Mr. Baldrick, and I wish I could give a lot more back, but I hope this helps a little bit. And he hands over the water skin, and like aroma wise, it smells wonderful. If you ever smell it, like lovely herbal, just like drink it.
Oh,
and
I know the feeling. I would
Yeah.
actually like some right now because I need to drink because I'm out of water.
But yeah, but it's like it's lovely. And Orange, like, even though he seems sad and a bit regretful in his thought, but he's like, out of everything, Mr. Baldrick, I know you, out of a lot of people in that city, help build a foundation for people to do good. And just like different caretakers will take care of the forest, some may only take care of just the saplings and may disappear before it's a full tree. I think you are one of the best tree carers of the city I've ever met, Mr. Baldrick.
Orin, I've got a little bit of information before I go. I'm gonna try this, all right? He's gonna hold up the flask a bit. And he's going to tip it up to his helmet, but he's pretty tired, so he's not thinking too much. So he's actually going to lift his helmet up just a bit. And you're going to be able to see the barest part of his lower jaw at this point as he tips the flask up to take a drink from it. You note that based on kind of what you're looking at, it looks almost like the entirety of his right cheek is missing. You can see the entire row from back of his jaw to the front of it on the right side.
Yeah.
Is gone. You can just see his teeth are just there, and they part for a moment to let him drink. Orin, this city is going to be built on the bones of my friends. It has been. And it will be built on my bones. If I don't have my way of things. So, for the moment, I'm going to sleep. I appreciate it.
Or nods.
He passes the empty flask back down, and he lowers his helmet back down a bit. And he will stumble into whatever the blind is that's been set up at this point. I don't even know what we have as a shelter. It's just all grass, isn't it?
It's like a structure with some dead trees, mostly rocks from basically an old attempt at a building out here that you managed to find.
Yeah.
Vina, as Baldrick approaches, are you still awake?
Yeah, Vina's awake.
And you're still kind of looking off into the middle distance, right?
Yep.
Have you just been sort of tracking the firelight from the torch?
Yeah,
So
with
the
nothing else.
torch.
She's kind of just tracking the
Yeah.
light.
You see, as you are keeping an eye and Baldrick is approaching, a shadow descends towards the torch from the sky. A winged shadow.
Orin perks up. Does he identify the shadow?
Well, Vina's the one who saw it. So.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I
Vina, what
apologize.
does Orin see?
Yeah, let me metagame through your eyes real
Vina
fast.
sees something, Orin perks up.
Sorry.
No, you're
funny.
good.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'll try to focus in on it, try to figure out what it is from this distance.
Give me one more perception check. We'll see if you can get a better tell. Of it.
Perception's not excellent.
I'm sorry. I need to point this out. Someone in the chat. I'm not being mean. You described it as having wings, right?
Yeah.
Someone in chat said the ship.
Well, how else is it supposed to fly?
I'm sorry. I'm not being mean, but it was very funny.
Great.
Yeah, that's a 30 on the perception check.
It is an erratically flying winged draconic being that has landed by this torch in the distance.
Does it look like a familiar draconic figure?
Too far to tell.
I'm gonna look back toward the gang. Just very quickly stand up and meander a little more to get a better look at it.
Okay. So you're just gonna kind of leave the gang and start heading towards it?
Yeah,
that
I'll just start wandering in that direction.
Yeah, you kind of splush through a bunch. You can see that the torch has stopped moving. And as you get closer, there's a reflection, like a glint. Like the torchlight is almost being amplified by something behind it. And you continue to get closer. And as you do, with your very, very... Actually, are you approaching stealthily? That's another question.
That's also a good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna approach stealthily.
Yeah. Give me a stealth check.
All right, that's an okay roll. Yes, that 19 winked at me. That's an 18.
It did. Okay. So you're making progress. You're stealthy. But there's still, the squelching of the swamp here. You're trying to get good footing. There's not a lot of cover, but managed to get close enough to see a single solitary figure holding a torch in one hand and some sort of weapon in another. The reflection that you previously saw was actually the glint of the figure's armor reflecting the torchlight. And as you see the vast sort of draconic wooden entity of Gorgamonger, which is now kind of fallen down, not dead or anything so dramatic, but from winded and breathing, you definitely see the armored form of someone you know from the past. So the armor reflects back light from the torch. Much of the armor is covered in like spatters and the patina of blood, and you see Sir Crunch of Legebet,
It's the
behind
boy.
which
He's here.
is what appears to be some sort of a wagon. The wagon has a tarp over it, concealing something inside. And that is where we'll go to break.
Finally.
Break time.
Oh,
We'll be right back, everyone.
time.
We are back.
We're back.
We're back.
There are things in the distance, Thurston.
I hunger.
There are. You've seen Sir Crunch approaching with a wagon that has a tarp over it, bloodied with Gorgamonger sort of having landed. Vina, you have approached this site, seeing that Crunch is the source of the light, holding up a torch.
Crunch?
Who's there? Who's there? I may be at the end of my strength, but I won't let you touch any one of this caravan. I swear it. Back.
And he's waving the torch.
Crunch, what happened? Vina's gonna step out.
Miss Vina, not a trick of the light. God, so good to see you. Oh. I'd hoped we would find some succor out here. I did not expect. They said you were heading to the smoldering city.
Yes, I did. See, I told you something from the back of the wagon.
Oh,
As Duhakis pops out.
both of you are okay.
No, I'm
There's
too tired
a
for this.
third figure, and you start to hear this sound of like loud, obnoxious snoring. As a small child is sleeping in the back of the wagon as well.
Oh, thank God this character's here.
Oh, God.
Yes, the comedy child.
Oh, comedy child. Oh, she's asleep. I don't have to do the voice. Thank God.
Baldrick sees all this and he just kind of
Okay,
shakes his head.
spoilers, chat. I know you don't trust me right now. No, the hungover peasant child is not something they need to kill or assume is the ultimate villain of this campaign.
It's actually been one of the gods the entire time.
No, if anything, we're going to have to fight the hardest final boss of them all, Cirrhosis.
So true, bestie.
Cirrhosis the Wise.
Never heard of liquor.
Yeah, I'm gonna approach Crunch. So, what happened back in Outset? I'm gonna need you to talk fast because if you're with Marlene,
Marlene, what does Marlene have to do? This is Hawkish who like pops out as like Crunch is still umming and like, no. I was at Baldrick's house, and then the Tyrant's Guild kicked in the door. There were a dozen of them. They came in and they were apprehending me. They were going into Baldrick's back room and they were trying to take the thing that's in there, and then Crunch showed up and I murdered so many of them.
Oh.
And this is where you like really take notice of just how much blood is on Crunch's armor.
Oh, it's not his. Uh-oh.
Well, I came and I was on the way back and I saw the Tyrant's Guild, and I figured I wouldn't cause a scene, but then the child was there, and I had to protect the child, of course. And then I heard Lady Hawkish screaming, so I went in and I went in a smashing, and well, they were in the way, and.
When was the last time any of you saw Marlene?
I shortly before everything went to whatever the hell's happened in the city. She was doing paperwork for the revolution stuff. I don't know. It all seems so stupid to me. She sent Tessin to send some pamphlets, and then she disappeared. And then Tessin left, and next thing I knew, you were there, and we had that talk, and then. It's just like expressively like disturbed. So Crunch showed up and we knew we were made because at that point the Tyrant's Guild, Baldrick's house wasn't off limits anymore, so we left.
Right.
Well, that's not quite the whole story.
All right, fine. What else was there, though?
Well, you see, before we left, I knew we had to extricate ourselves from that locale, but I knew that Sir Baldrick had been hard at work on something, so I acquired ourselves a wagon from one Brotus, who indicated something when I'd indicated the purpose of it, that was some sort of Five Guys coupons or stamps or something that you were good for one wagon. So he provided the wagon for free, which was quite sporting of him, and well, we made sure to evacuate Baldrick's project.
You moved the whole thing.
Well, it's in the wagon. It was glowing, so we covered it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Did you separate any parts of it?
No.
If you did, you're going to probably need some attention medically very soon.
No. In fact, Sir Blotus indicated we would want a lead-lined top for our current endeavors, which is why I'm somewhat all right with the child sleeping there.
Good. Get her off it.
Like the Crunch goes to like she's the weapon at his side, like holds the sleeping child like an enlarged baby in armored hands because the child is not waking up.
The child is definitively not waking up, so Odo doesn't have to voice the child.
Odo, would you please give me some girl snores? Okay, thanks.
Chunk me.
Excellent, done, beautiful.
Yeah, Vina's gonna look over to Baldrick and then kind of look back toward the camp and gesture for everyone to come. Yeah, I guess we've got a lot to talk about then.
I'm guessing so. All sorts of things happened. The wind has stopped. The water, the earth's gone sour.
Yeah.
And the Tyrant's Guild were everywhere. Barely got out. They were more interested in imposing order in the city. They didn't care who was coming or going.
That seemed to be according to Marlene's plan.
Well, you keep mentioning Marlene. What does she have to do with this?
Everything.
We're getting to that.
What?
One side, I need to make sure this is intact. And Baldrick is going to continue the conversation as he swings around the back of the wagon to inspect the project.
Yeah. The project looks intact.
Okay, I'm going to spend a hero point narratively so that he can work on this and further it at this point. Now that he has the
absolutely.
opportunity. Yeah. So Marlene, the architect, she was not, strictly speaking, just an architect. You know, the amalgamate.
Oh, the foul beast that plagued you from your early days in those apartments, the one I chased around. Yes, the foul creature.
Yes, so her and it are one and the same.
As I suspected when you inquired about this before, some sort of primal entity. Of course, my research simply indicated it's typically some sort of eidolon for speakers of different folks in the Solitude and other old power venerating groups.
Yeah, well, her and the amalgamate, they're the same. She is the amalgamate.
What? Oh no! Wait! No! That's you mean that's like some sort of? It couldn't be her. It must have been like her.
No, I mean that very literally. I mean that extremely literally. I mean that as literally as beating you over the head with it. Yes, she was it. That's how all of this managed to transpire because everyone else. Baldrick kind of leans on the edge of the wagon, pausing his repairs of the project for a moment to motion towards the assembling party. Was perfectly okay with just adding whoever to in, and so as a result, it's just normal to have people around. Didn't even bother to check. But that's life.
Duhakis is like quickly scrounging some of the tomes that are in the back.
No, that's look, right here.
And she like pulls out like various pages that she starts flipping through and showing as she holds up these tomes, showing creatures of elemental providence. Some of them being singular elementals, like roaring fires. Others being like duo elemental compositions, like air and fire, and like a conflagrating whirlwind. But then she eventually points. These are all eidolons of great powerful primal beings. Well, not beings, but mortals who have vested primal energies in them. Something kind of like what Orin does, but less generic and more specialized to the elemental powers.
It's not generic.
You know what I mean. You believe in the green, but this is like. When you went to the Solitude, you went to those kaibus. They have a speaker there, don't they?
Baldrick is trying to rack his brain, and by that I mean I'm trying to rack my brain. Did they have a speaker?
Yeah. So
it was Aethon, I know, but I wanted to make sure he was actually.
Aethon was, but the whole thing was that Aethon talked to you about the current speaker being a small child. That Aethon was the speaker, but his child abandoned the Kaibu. And so they had to go to like the next generation to get a speaker who was basically like a small child who was off at another Kaibu when you visited.
Well, they did have a speaker. Problem is, it was a small child because of inter-tribe nonsense. Look, I don't speak for them in this regard. All I know is, yeah.
Okay, well, it couldn't be that one because Marlene's a half elf.
Yeah,
he might have been the other half, because he loved a lot talking about his. By the way, just an absolute lech of a man. He really loved talking about that elf.
Oh. Well, then I can assure you, the amalgamate and Marlene are not the same. It's just more that the amalgamate's like a very, very powerful pet.
Considering it's operating at her will, I would be hard-pressed to assume otherwise. Last time I had a pet, it didn't exactly do what I wanted it to. Cats are like that.
I guess it's yeah, well, more powerful style pet. Powerful elemental being chained to powers of mortal flesh and whatnot.
We're beating around the bush. So yes,
That's all there
Marlene
is out
there
here are bushes.
He's going to return to repairing because the derailing thoroughly defeated him. Someone else take over. He doesn't want to talk to Duakas.
Yeah. Let's just get to camp. Let's get
Yes, of
settled.
course.
Clearly, you guys need to rest.
I shall place the child somewhere.
Yeah, just put it on the nuke or something.
Yeah.
No. Also, you don't know what that is. Don't say that. I'll give you a hint. It's not that.
Yeah.
To have the
let's just get back
scene.
to camp.
Sorry. To have the scene somewhere else. Orin had dashed off, ignoring everybody, and has already rushed up to Gorgamonger. And it's just a scene of him in the distance just bawling.
Oh.
Baby boy.
And he just hugging his
Don't cry for me. I'm fine. I just need to rest a little.
I don't
Why
want
is
to
he
role play
crunch now?
crying.
Why is
he
Gorgamonger
crunched out?
crunch now?
No, Crunch is far less like definitive.
Yeah.
He's crying so much he confuses Crunch for Gorgamonger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's-
I just pat Orin's little head.
Yeah, he's just bawling.
Horrid will never be bawling.
He gets a 3-pointer.
No!
Stupid druid, I'm balling. Spikes him in through a net.
But after that, Orin will kind of, after his tear fest and reuniting himself with Gorgamonger, he just starts going to town healing everybody. Like I said, everyone's wounded, so that's pretty much all that Orin is doing at this point, just checking up on everybody. And even come up to Tannhauser and be like, Mr. Tannhauser, you're wounded. Here's some mud.
Coming into the shelter, it is even in this short time just been like a scrawl of just like insane pins on like boards everywhere, maps laid out,
I know
like
this
things
bit.
being written. No, it's not this bit, you fucking son of a bitch. I'm not trying to catch the criminal, that's me.
Hands up. I know the problem, Orin.
Yeah. Tannhauser looks
Got
looks
it.
at
We
Orin
have
and
to
says-
go to Graya.
Yeah, Tannhauser looks at Orin. Someone's been killing menials in the lower decks. Who is it?
Maybe it's this guy, points to an old man. Like, no, that one. And he points to some weird looking glowy eyed fucker. Just
I cannot believe that I canonically exist in this setting.
Go
I mean, I
away.
guess he does.
good thing the bearded baron's on the case.
I'm losing my mind.
All right, well, I'll get away from this alternate reality of ours, and I'll take a look at Orin. Orin, I notice the explosions have stopped. I assume Baldrick has come to something resembling his senses.
He's calmed down for a bit. I gave him some tea, and I have some for you. And he kind of has another. He's refilled his water skin at this point and has made some as he's been healing people. It's like, and he offers it to Tannhauser as he looks at all the random scrawlings and papers and stuff, and he's like, well, what have you thought of so far, Mr. Tannhauser?
Right now I'm collating data. It'd be so much easier with Duhakis here, but we don't know who of the old guard of the revolution can be trusted. I need to find our next point of action.
They arrived.
What? Who?
Conch and Duhakis is outside, along with Gorgamonger, and he kind of sets it aside, but
he drops the gravel for exactly like half a second. What? Oh!
What? Oh my God! He says totally normally.
No, I don't mean
Who
like
said
that was
that?
a fuck up. I mean that was funny. Yes.
It'd be funny if Tannhauser, like before he became a
Was
robot,
affectating the whole gravel bit.
yeah, like, well, that'd be funny, but it'd also be funny if before he became a robot, Tannhauser didn't talk like this. Was like, "Hey guys, it's me. What's up?"
just like a
I
door-to-door
cast
salesman.
regenerate on your vocal cords. Get fucked for the rest of the campaign.
Good thing in my new form I removed my throat because you were tired.
All right, guys.
God helps me, yeah.
The machine spirits are strong. They're too strong today. So at hearing this, I'm going to kindly take the tea. I will drink from it in the mysterious way that Tannhauser drinks things. And I'm going to head out and get a gauge of things and see who is still alive, still sane, still trusted, and I will see the baby on top of the nuke.
Mr. Tannhauser.
Yes.
Orin looks at all your scrawling, like, what is, like, just to summarize, what is most of the scrawling?
War plans. These are like tactical maps. These are like maps drawn from memory, like shitty like coordinates, like collations of potential forces, tables of math to estimate the time frame in which like a group of like conscript like levymen can be trained into proper soldiers. It's all shit like that. It's all lore war stuff.
Orin will kind of tap some of the pieces of paper or so. It's like, Mr. Tannhauser, have you considered there might still be some that are still part of your revolution? Like for this paper, and he kind of goes, he taps on one, and he goes like, oh, and here you could probably solve this problem with that airship that's probably still docked somewhere. And he kind of like taps another paper.
Exactly. These have all been accounted for, though the exact state of my revolution is yet to be seen. We are fortunate that we were forced out of the city in some number. It's likely we can recruit many of our allies. And once we have that airship, the world won't know what hit it.
He looks at Tannhauser and kind of like with a small smile comes up to him and he's like, sounds to me, Mr. Tannhauser, that there's a path forward.
There is always a path forward.
Let's go see everyone. And he plaps forward.
Indeed.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Yeah, how dare you? I kill you, I'll break your bones.
All right.
Cast explode.
So I'm gonna go out and say hi to my friends.
Yeah, so you go out, you see Cronchus at the hungover child. Baldrick is now got a second wind and is working on the device. Vena's there. Cronchus sort of like doing the Dark Souls thing of leaning up against the runes side of a building.
Duhakis!
Seemingly crestfallen.
Duhakis! Crunch! Random drunk child! You're all alive.
Yes, sure am. I had some stuff happen. Some stuff happened to us too. You should have seen Crunch. Crunch murdered a lot of people.
Excellent, Crunch. I always knew you had it in you, on account of all of the expensive armor that you wear.
Well, what you do is you think of their skulls like smelting a weapon, and then it works very effectively.
Most excellent. Now then, we have a problem. I'm sure the others have already told you about Marlene.
Hard to believe. A viper so close, so in the nest.
Duhakis, I'm going to rely on you, especially in the coming days. We must undo whatever damage Marlene has done using her high position.
I don't know. We had to leave the city quite immediately. We didn't know really much of what was going on. Tyrant's guilds. There were so many of them. They came out of almost nowhere.
Yes, I have reason to suspect that they might have been lying in wait. What we're dealing with is a conspiracy, an outset illuminate, something manipulating everything from behind the scenes of power. But fortunately for us, power has always been our target.
I suppose I thought we were here to help people, so I'm still interested in helping people, of course.
One cannot help anyone without the ability to do so, and one gains the ability by seizing power. Now, tell me, do you know of how many revolutionaries we have in good fighting order?
I couldn't tell you a thing. We ran the Ponds district by Sir Baldrick's house was in good order, but then the Tyrant's Guild came and everyone was scattered and beaten. I don't know how many of them made it out. I dare say I don't even know what happened with good Sir Tessin either. Truly dark day.
Indeed. Well, we'll have to gather what allies we can. For now, we need to rest. We faced off against an avatar of Uncle Blaze, and we barely survived.
You what?
Uncle Blaze. He was behind that dreadful street gang.
We've been very busy.
What? Huh?
And he turned into a tree.
Wait! Yes! Duhakis!
Hi?
Duhakis, Marlene was able to seal the avatar of Uncle Blaze as well as all of the old powers, utilizing some unknown crystal. Some sort of strange concoction that she claims has sealed all four of them. What can you tell us of this?
What did you see of it? Like, give me something to go on here.
It was a shining spike. It impaled them from the back. There were chains, I believe. Who else recalled that? I was filtering in between consciousness when it occurred.
It was as if a nail of piercing white light cored the avatar of flame,
Right.
cooling it and sealing it inside a great gnarled tree. At this moment, Rehua choosing to finally re-engage the group and walk back up.
Tree? You're the only tree I mean, like that kind of tree, I guess. I'm sorry, I've seen trees before. I'm not
It was
that sure.
similar in shape, but sealing Uncle Blaze inside it just the same, proclaiming that she had done so to the remaining three old powers, and that he was the last. And with his sealing,
okay, yep.
we are no longer sponsored.
Yeah, you can't just seal. You can't just be like, oh, here's a spike. Old power, literal god. Mortals
And
don't
yet-
get to do that.
There is something more at play, as all its divine might ebbed away in that moment, or at the very least had severely limited its power.
Orin,
Yeah.
you can cast spells, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not gone or dead or anything like that.
Because if they were cut off, you wouldn't have primal magic. It just wouldn't work.
That's something.
You're saying that she why did she do this?
To allow Outset to expand.
That with Uncle Blaze locked away, the one that they had not already subjugated,
It was Uncle Blaze.
the old powers would be helpless to invoke their wrath upon Outset once more for expanding beyond their borders.
Okay, but gods don't manifest like that's not they have avatars or and you fought Uncle Blaze like not wait, you said it was a lord, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It possessed his body.
Where did you kill him?
The Lord is dead, so far as we know.
To shreds.
Yeah.
Gathrim incarnated through Ilort and nearly smote us with a sun-sized ball of fire before Marlene swooped in.
If you got that religion check, give me that religion check. Recall
Okay.
knowledge with
Oh, dear.
religion. That's a check to make. That's a check to make.
That's a beautiful song.
24.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Rehua, that's enough for you to recognize, sponsorship works in a very similar way where divine power works through you, but you would have enough knowledge here to know that Uncle Blaze is unique in that historically, they have not sponsored in a normal fashion. Their sponsorship represents essentially using a host like fuel, where each sponsorship allows them to exert more and more of a direct influence. So, Ilort would have essentially been, every time you defeated him, say the twice in that combat, would have been burning more and more of what was Ilort away and making more and more room for Uncle Blaze as a manifested point on Tyne.
Ilort was most certainly sponsored by Uncle Blaze. His sponsorship worked a little bit differently than what we at least understand of it. That each time that we would have dealt a fatal blow to Ilort, what remained of him burned away. Uncle Blaze filling in the room until, well, nothing of the man who was existed, and it was simply a point of primal power that Uncle Blaze allowed to fully manifest in that moment.
Yes, a focal point. The old powers, they don't manifest directly, but they have focal points. That storm over there in the distance, that's why Papa Storm is said to manifest a focal point. It moves around the whole planet sometimes. I'm assuming the giant toad thing you told me about, that's probably a focal point for Auntie Drown.
Yes, that would be correct, at least under my assumption of it.
So,
What's that revelation?
well, that'd be dumb. No.
We're
it
not
out.
operating on smart or dumb at this point.
If you had an object that could hold something powerful in place, something self-sustaining, constantly growing, constantly regenerating, something that could slough off the old power's attempts to get it out, you could trap those focal points, and that traps their attention. They still grant spells because that's just the thing that's being asked of them. It's a transactional element, but their focus, their ability to just look at the planet and go smite there, like they've done. You'd stop that.
Because
Which
they're
would-
because when they're looking here, they can only look at the one point they're trying to get out of.
Which would allow them to continue building around them as they are struggling to break these bonds.
Yeah, yes, because then they couldn't manifest themselves anywhere else on the planet. But that would mean everything. That would mean if there was a rot infestation, they couldn't manifest and save it like they've done.
Which would track that whatever kind of arcane technology the Architects Guild had used, or the greater forces at play, was rot-based. What else beyond the capabilities of the old powers, the gods that be, would be able to draw them in a manner that you describe?
But they're anathema to one another. You can't. Primal power's what stops the rot. It couldn't be that. It'd have to be something immensely powerful. Something that's constantly regrowing itself to deal. Like, look at Uncle Blaze. He could just burn it off. So it'd have to be something that constantly is there. Constantly.
Like
Hold
the
on, I
rot.
have a suggestion.
What?
The one outlier in all of this has been Rehua, a creature of pure chaos. And the cult that we were able to engage with among the Tyrants Guild venerated the Perfectites. Between that and the strange tower that we encountered, could the Perfectites somehow have a material that could do just a thing? A perfect imprisonment? Some sort of sublime, unnatural material?
It could be perpetually evolving, utilizing rot in tandem for its ontomorphic effects to create effectively a self-rearranging prison that for every time they try to find their way around it and burn it away, it seems to right itself, or essentially as if it was a lock that perpetually changed keys.
Is this possible, Duhakis?
Yes, but that would be something previously unknown. I don't have any supposition. I'm trying to think of anything I know that would match this. If any of you have craft, give me a recall knowledge.
Craft, you said?
Crafting, yeah.
I have
can-
crafting.
Yeah.
Crafting.
I will
Please?
crafting because
I don't
I
know
have
shit
the
about shit.
strongest of everyone who ever lived.
Nanite
Stronger
surge.
than a 16.
Why are you nanite surging? Then?
So I can think extra hard.
With your 2.
with the 2 that I rolled. I'll spend a hero point because we should
Just let
maybe
me
find
let
out.
me roll my crafting first. Hang on.
I thought you did. Oh no!
Roll my
that was-
dice.
That was Hulky did. Never mind.
It's a 36.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's a little bit
as
better.
This
There we go.
conversation, I appreciate this too because Tannhauser and Rue have been like the Perfectites, all of this thing, and like I assume Baldrick's just kind of in the background of this scene, tinkering on the device, and then there's like Duhak's like the things. Baldrick, you grew up in Outset. You've been in Outset your whole life. Outset is a city that constantly grows upwards because of the white pilasters that constantly grow through the city and constantly force it to move upwards. And when you think of the scene that you saw of a white object piercing it, whilst it was white, it was not light, like pure light in and of itself. It took on that appearance because of fire, but in fact it looked more like the sort of salt stone white of the pilasters of Outset.
Hang on. Hold that thought. Growing.
Yeah, it would need to. Otherwise, think of it, the Uncle Blaze would just be like, "Brr, fire, it's gone."
Pilasters.
What?
They grow. We saw a white shape pierce through.
what is around Outset that is constantly growing? That happens to be same basic tone.
People, that's the answer, right?
I just said it.
I guess just the pilasters.
The pilasters.
Don't know much about them.
I don't either. I'm not an engineer.
I'm not an architect.
Mm-hmm.
And now it comes full circle.
But you would need a repository of ancient knowledge from like a super long time ago in the city to figure out some of the.
You mean like the kinds that can be found by delvers in the Undercity, in the place below, where we might have been sent to collect things?
Kind of knowledge hoarded by people of great power who are trying to forestall their own ends. With strange benefactors.
Or held in the collection of Lady Zale.
What a mess.
That type of power is some pretty ridiculous I mean, it's look at that city over there, and like the camera pans away from our current shot of distant shadowy Outset towards the literal flaming small burg in the distance of the now ignited city and no longer smoldering city. Oh, that makes even more sense now. Give me a nature check if you've got it.
No, I don't got it good.
I do.
Comes a roll. Nah, I'll let Rehua take it.
Oh!
That's a nat 20.
Yeah, Rehua's got it.
Yeah, Rehua, as you turn to like look with your eye, and you sort of like one of the things that's still been put up here is like Crunch's torch, and this is the first time you sort of noticed that the Crunch's torch. It almost resembles like a lantern more than like crackling, raging fire. It's as though like the passion of this fire has been taken out of it. But when you look towards that burg, that city you just ran from, now in an entire conflagration, you realize it's because fire has been concentrated there. And as you do that, your eye sort of scans up to the sky, where in the far distance, to the west, past the walls of Outset, even you see the storm cloud and the intensity of flashing electricity as thunder kind of. It's not making a sound, like you're not hearing the whoosh of thunder, but you're seeing crackles of electricity in the immense storm. As though, much like the city, that elemental power is now concentrated in one area.
It is as if someone has brought nature to heal. That they've imposed a gross sense of order upon the natural order. Look out there. The city burns and still wild in its might, but look at Crunch's. It's more of a lantern. It's reserved. There's no heart to the flame. And over there in the distance, that storm, it's not possessed of that same wile and energy that we experienced before out in the solitude. They're all at these loci of power. As if to suggest that that is where we will find these bound gods.
Yeah, well, good luck getting into the storm.
How many are there?
Well, there are 4 gods, at least of the cardinal 4.
Yes.
One would assume that there would be 4 avatars bound somewhere on Tyne.
On Tyne. So not within the city.
Not necessarily, but it wouldn't be impossible. In fact, it would be grossly convenient if they were that close.
Dehakis, Baldric, I will require your assistance.
What do you need my assistance with?
Dehakis, I would like you to spend the evening, if you can, searching through whatever records you might have with you. We can provide you more, find more, obviously, when we're not stuck in the outskirts between cities. But we need to know of other avatars of the great powers, where they might be, if any are known to legend or myth. Meanwhile, Baldric, you are an alchemist par excellence. I have a simple task for you. How do you dissolve a pilaster?
Oh? Hello? Baldric?
Hi, sorry about that. I think my internet fluctuated there.
Okay.
He was thinking about it really hard.
Yeah.
No, I think it cut out like midway, and I didn't realize you weren't talking. Sorry. Go ahead again. Sorry. What did you ask him? I guess.
How do you dissolve a pilaster?
How the Thurston? What the hell would I roll to figure that out?
Give me a crafting check. Let's see if you get the 20.
All right, let's see if we can do.
There's a 1 in 20 chance that you will know this off the cuff.
No, 32.
With a 32, you know that this has been like the theory of some debate for a long time. The only like it is possible to break off pieces of a pilaster, but study into the pilasters is not something you've ever done. In fact, like the city kind of has big issues with people doing that after what happened, the disaster of the Pons pilaster taking its tumble. So access to the pilasters themselves is fairly regulated, and in fact what happens is as they rise up, they put sheets around them to prevent access from like, I'm digging in like the lower levels, and then like I reach an adamantium wall because they've made sure to protect it. The pilaster substance though is something that can be damaged, it can be chipped and removed. As far as destruction though, like destroying a whole pilaster is incredibly difficult because of the rate of growth based on the size. So you'd need to have, generally speaking, like a good way to dissolve it, and this would be something you would need to do a lot of research into.
That's a bit above my intellectual weight class at the moment, Tannhauser.
I would word some caution to you, though. The destruction of a pilaster is not necessarily without its faults. I'm a little too tired to bicker on morality of it right now, but the reason we have that giant hole in the Pons pilaster region is because someone tried to do that. So unless you plan on doing that to the whole city, you might want to rethink that.
I don't intend on doing it to the whole city. I intend on doing it to the chains around the old gods.
I'd have to look into it. It's not common alchemical knowledge, but I'm certain I could think something up.
Then this is the knowledge we seek, where the avatars are, and how to destroy the pilasters.
If you are dealing with perfectite technology or perfectites themselves, you will not find breaking them in that fashion to be an easy task, especially because they are ones to continue building upon themselves and righting whatever damage was done. I don't think it would go beyond the pale to say that they would probably find some way to prevent doing the same thing that you did to them, destroy them twice.
Thurston, I have a question.
Yes.
Would a possibility engine be a potential means engines to.
Oh, you mean like a Zascoran reality engine?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to give me one of them lore Zascoran things?
I would love to give you one of those.
Yeah.
It would be my sincerest pleasure. That was a 19 on the die. It almost was a 1. It's a 34 in total.
Your knowledge of these devices would indicate that they would not assist you in the destruction. They are about potentiality. They are about looking through threads and finding ways, the best way forward. These engines are like very strange attempts at time travel, but they are an enigma even to like the people who supposedly built them, which came from Zascoran. However, this gives you like a vein of thought. Can you give me a society check?
I would love to give you a society check.
Yeah, please do.
Society.
Sweet.
That's a 34.
34 as well. So this takes you down like a thought of like, okay, well, like Zascoran technology is like very advanced. Maybe it could know, but what's the history of the pilasters? Well, the pilasters were not there since the beginning of Outset. They came later. They came after the disaster. They came after the first people decided that they could go beyond the old powers, which sundered the continent. The pilasters were then left by the remaining inhabitants, those who didn't flee the city. And when they when they created them, the cause of their creation led to the people disappearing entirely. And even the reason for their creation remains a mystery to this day. It's kind of the like worldwide Roanoke where this entire city disappeared after a disaster had befallen it. Everyone mostly left, but there was still like a sizable population in the city. That population disappeared, and instead what happened was traders and bandits and whatnot from the proto solitude, that sort of disaster land around the city following the old powers revenge. Oh, well, not revenge, but enactment of their justice. When those when those people came back to the city, they found it empty, and then they found only the pilasters in their wake. But the pilasters are a man-made device. They don't seem to have any association with fundamental powers.
I see. So I know that the people who created the pilasters all disappeared all at once after completing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that it's incredibly old, but it follows the old powers. So the old powers, gave the people their city, the people moved into the city, it was all great, and then all they had to do was not expand beyond the borders, and then they expanded beyond the borders, and the old powers just fucked everything up on the continent. And most of the people then spread out and left, but some remained behind, and those people who remained behind, they eventually disappeared, and all that was left were these vast pilasters.
That's eerie.
The pilasters are made of people.
This culture group that did it, do they have a particular name?
They were like considered the last of something called the first people. Basically, they were the only ones who. So they sort of in their hubris took the name of the first people because they were the first people to have civilization in a standard sense. Outset was the first city. Up until then, the world was roving gangs of fundamental Mad Max cults, worshiping the fundamental powers of the beneficence, the malicite, or the malice, the anarchy, the perfection. And then Outset kind of formed as the city, and because they built a city and they had like walls and they were protected, they basically established the tenets of empire, and did great until they broke those edicts. And then they realized, well, fuck it, we'll just leave the city after the old powers, and brought civilization to the rest of the world.
I see.
And that's like super, super long ago history that you know about. Like, we're talking very, very long time ago.
I will share this lore with the rest of the class. And essentially Tannhauser is going to say, these first peoples that crafted the pilasters, that did so after the original calamities that befell the land, could it be possible to glean their knowledge, to discover the means by which they created the pilasters?
I don't see why not.
Then we must do so.
Ooh, disconnected, reconnected. What happened there?
Oh god, did my internet just hiccup?
I think a lot of us, I had speakers say something and then he just died out on me, so I relogged into the call.
Good old
Oh, wow.
Discord.
Yeah.
To help us along. Orin has been, although busy healing people and prepping everyone, he still prepares everyone an herbal tea. And as everyone's together, he'll kind of be like, well, with the information and stuff, what are we going to do now?
The only thing we can do. Move forward.
Sounds to me like you want to go into some of those places. I think you've got a ways to go before you're able to go into Firetown over there. But
well,
maybe you know where some of the other ones. I mean, Stormland, but I don't know how you're getting it there.
My dad knows.
Let's try to gather some information first. Let's see if we can get a hold of some people we know and see if they know anything. Failing that, we also do need a means of travel.
Yeah.
Before we do anything, we need the airship.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds like something we can start on. And Orin's passing out his teas, everyone. And he's like, well, my dad possibly knows a way to get through the storm. And he looks over at the looming just clouds of burr, and all the lightning and stuff. He's like, he's helped tons of ships kind of brave the storms, and especially what a lot of my people do. So, I'm confident we can do that. And if we have the ship, then that means we can go visit my family.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And get all of that. But we need a crew. And Orin kind of ponders.
We may be able to make a pit stop back in Ayesa. There are always people looking for work there. Crews with experiences on what few airships we have.
There's also the remainders of the revolution, those that were scattered about the Pons Pilaster or fled the city.
Yeah, we could probably promise them a way out of here if they don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
A free ticket out of here is a pretty good leveraging point.
That is true. It is a surefire way out.
Helping those who cannot help themselves, especially those who might be able to throw a further wrench in the operations.
We do have something close to us that we should probably inspect first. We definitely need to take a look and see what the business is with the frog before we go too far out of field.
I imagine that Papa Storm and Anti-Drown should be our first priorities.
I got 3 of them. That just means you're gonna have to find a way into the Earthen Sepulchre for the last one.
We'll take it as we go. I'm tired.
Tannhauser.
Yes, I'm
Mention at the mention of the Earthen Sepulchre. You know that to be like the equivalent, the Darklands Underdark underground realm equivalent. You've all heard it mentioned before briefly by Dita Neeson. who indicated that she had been going on an expedition into the Earthen Sepulchre. But Tannhauser, you know that one of the things notable in the distant lands of Golgotha is underneath its vast wasteland deserts are various entrances into the Earthen Sepulchre.
Oh, it cannot be. In the land of Golgotha, where the dark citadels of the Black Papacy dwell, there are manifold entrances to the Earthen Sepulchre. Undoubtedly, we'll have to find our way there. And if we do, we may have to pay a visit to the dearest host of that beloved country of mine, Lord Golgotha himself.
Well, it sounds to me we have a plan forward. We're gonna go and find all the various remnants and stuff that we can over an outset. You know, it's gonna be a crew for that airship that we can definitely go over and find and try to secure. I think, like, Mr. Tannhauser is like, I can help scout and everything if you want to draw out some plans for that.
Yes. Yes, I think so.
And in Rehua, with your knowledge and stuff, we could probably just try to keep an eye on everything here. And with your ingenuity and stuff and everything else, you can also really help out with the heist and try to bring people aboard. Good.
I can certainly try. I can certainly do my best in that regard, Orin.
And of course, like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to thing. And with that, once we get a lot of people and stuff, Vina, we're gonna need a captain for that ship, and you're gonna bring a lot of hope to a lot of people.
I can try.
He kind of pats Vina on the shoulder, saying, I know you'll try your best, but I know of no other captain who's more qualified to get their own airship.
I can try. I can try. That's the only thing I can promise right now.
And of course, we need someone with a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge of what's going on. Of course, when we come back to Outset, who else is the better to stick it to them than you, Mr. Baldrick?
Yeah, I'm certain. I don't know how you have this kind of energy right now, Orin. It's late. We got our asses beat. I think we should get rest first.
Well, Mr. Baldrick, I have a lot of this energy because all my friends are alive. I consider you one of them, Mr. Baldrick, so are you with us? And he brings out a hand to shake his.
Sure. I'm in for now.
He shakes his, brings everyone, he kind of brings everyone together. And it's like, did it sound to us? It sounds to me that we have a path forward. Sure, might have got roughed up and things seem bleak a little bit, but I don't think it's the end of it. I think we have a shot of it because, hey, at least we know who to punch now.
I guess punching is half the battle, right?
Duhakis kind of leans up. Sounds like you've got yourselves a new destiny now.
It's funny you say that, Duhakis. Destiny. Baldrick had mentioned the word before, and I've given it a lot of thought. If I'm understanding it, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, destiny, or what we once knew as sponsorship, is to have our existence locked to a sequence of circumstances bound to terminate in a singular, defining event, ordained by forces far beyond our comprehension or control. No less rigid or linear a journey than, say, a cart upon a rail. That no matter how much one might try to deviate, or how many curious bumps or hiccups there may be, someone bound by destiny will never escape the point of termination they've been guided to. Uncle Blaze, Gatharin, his followers, they acted as agents of great change, destruction, brought upon the old so that new can rise from the ashes. I assume that us, with our sponsorship having originated from Auntie Drown, that our own destiny was the flip side of that, that creating and protecting whatever the wanton ruin the children of the Blaze threatened to wreak. After all, anarchy is a balance between destruction and creation. In the wake of everything that had happened, looking back towards the burning, smoldering city, I'm no less puzzled by those words that Marlene had left us with, of her architecting our actions from the start. For one such as her and her own ilk to have used us, to usher in their own ascendancy and carefully plot and plan our successes and failures, our destinies. Something is not right. It vexes me. How can they do all this but still manage to have an unaccounted for variable in an otherwise airtight plot? Rehua will start pacing about the campfire. Things might have worked in favor of their victory over the old powers, but for all of her bloviating, Marlene exposed, unwittingly, a gap in that armor of surety that she and her benefactors had vested so much faith in. Duhakus had mentioned this first, but she had affirmed this, that I, in the grander scheme, was an aberration, a mistake. There was no destiny tailor-made for me like there was for everybody else, that no accounts or deviances were pre-planned. Yet instead of that, I am not shaken. In fact, quite the opposite. If all of their schemes, if everything was as impregnable as we were led to believe, then surely any variances would have been accounted for. There would have been no real risk. Why then were they ever worried that it might fail? I stand before you as we redouble our efforts, battered, but same as I had ever been, that unaccounted for variable. And to you asking, what do we do? How do we go about taking down the pilasters? How do we bring ruin to these architects of stagnancy? I offer you an answer. At the heart of all creation lies a single, inviolable truth. And Rehua will loom very large over the fire. Anarchy reigns. No matter how many forms change comes in, the greater change will be and the less gentle it will be when it's born. Between what was planned and what came to pass is raw potential. That no matter how hard we fall, the worst outcomes can still guide us to an even greater height. It is on us to choose to make something new, to be someone new, if that should be what we desire, looking at Baldrick in this moment, with what might have been. This is the nature of the anarchy. Something I've tried to impress, but found it fairly difficult to make poignant until now. It is something that we can choose to embrace ourselves. There's no destiny beside that which we make. We are the stuff of potential, because among a dispossessed and disparate many is the collective capacity to act as a singular force of chaos. We choose to interfere in the machinations of others. We act not out of some generational scheme or static prophecy. Who continues to just pace about, more languid, fluid as he's been, far more than he's been in his stilted self. We are not sponsored anymore. But we move forward because we believe what is necessary in that moment. We do what we do because we are unafraid of embracing change as it comes and where it is needed. We may not be sponsored, but we are utterly untethered to destiny. There are no second chances. I cannot lie and say that we will certainly come out unscathed. But no architect exists of our fate but us. In her hubris, she believes that having sealed Gathrim, she has toppled the final domino, that she is summarily bested us, and thinks herself having won, but she is wrong. It is but the first of many to fall, and her banking upon our resignation will be her undoing. We may be on the back foot, but it doesn't mean we are beaten. It just means anything that comes next is forward progress. Sure as I am, the tide of entropy cascades through my frame, I am certain that our stories are nowhere near their end. Turning back now is death. Rehua looks to each member of the party. Our souls burn brighter than any pyre that Blaze could set, anyone they could put us to, and in our radiance, we will eclipse even the withered and fetid mass of stagnancy that looms on a horizon. Above us, we stand before the awesome gaze of infinity. Those stars, long having guided others on their own journeys. And I don't know if I need to make a narrative declaration. If the storm is not abated, I would like to make a narrative declaration. There's just a little bit of opening to the sky.
That's the smallest bit.
Rehua will just point upwards at whatever little space there is. All those little specks, inscrutable portents of change. I know that they are both the beginning and end of all things. From the stars we were born into that we will return, though I've heard in my travels some believe that the brightest among them are the remnants of lives whose legacies surpass them, having changed their worlds and life and thereafter. Change now beckons us onwards again. So I ask you to walk with me, my friends. Let me teach you to embrace the unseen current. Let us step forward into the uncertainty, to fates unmade and ends unknown. Let us build a constellation for the future to follow together.
Orin hops up and goes, I'm ready for an adventure.
I'm ready for vengeance.
Rehua will look to Volley and Vina.
Yeah. Yeah. Anarchy reigns. I think I can do that.
To a pirate legend yet untold.
Let's see if we get to tell it.
You still don't believe you. You still don't believe it, do you?
Our stories are ours to write, and ours to end, Vina. Take heart.
Yeah. Thank you.
Rehua will look to Baldric now.
Said I'm in.
And let it be done.
And let's all go to bed. Because I'm tired.
I was waiting for because everyone's like, I'm ready for adventure. I'm ready for revenge. I wanted Vina to be like, I'm ready for yada da. And then yes, it's chat just pointed out, I'm ready for bed for Baldrick.
He has been.
But as as this final oath to each other is made, our camera pans out away from the shattered ruin you find yourselves in the solitude, out to the distance, to the silhouette shadow of Outset with crackling storms behind it, and small lights that dance amidst the bushes, the fireflies of the swamp that dance and jump and fade, except some of those lights don't fade. Some of them watch our party with shining eyes. That is where we are going to call it for this season. Yay, good job, everybody!
Yippee!
Whee!
Thank you, everybody, for watching through the season of Rotgrind. We all hope you have a wonderful time. We're going to say goodbye to you all, starting off with Odoroshi.
Hi, hello, it's me, Odo. I was playing Vina, the Sylph Swashbuckler. Excellent session, everyone. Excellent role play. You can find me on Twitter at Odoroshirider. You can find me now on some more of the things with Alpha Busa and the Ogre Popenang gang. And yeah, thank you for an awesome season.
Of course, next up we have HulkyKrow.
That is me. As always, I have played the Kenrasu Cleric Rehua, and I've loved doing it. You can find me over on Twitter at HulkyKrow. You can find me on pretty much everything at HulkyKrow, including here on Twitch. We do some funny things from time to time, including on some Ogre Popening productions as well. I hope to see you there. There are more funny things in store.
Of course, we have Earndil.
I'm Earndil. You can meet me at Twitter at @Earndilio, or the Tumblr that you may know, or nowhere else, because that's just where it is. It's been fun, folks. I am a little tired myself, but yes.
And of course, we have Speaker D.
I'm Speaker D. I remember it, so you don't have to. This has been a lovely season of a lovely game. I've enjoyed this immensely. If you wish to find me, then you need only look inside yourself. But if you can't do that, then you can look at me and Earndil on Brother Alphabusa's YouTube channel, where various different projects are put together and presented for your enjoyment. I love you all very much. And don't forget, make them pay. Make them all pay.
Speaking of that person's mantra, thank you so much, Thurston, for an amazing session and season.
Thank you, and you're welcome. Yeah, this is kind of where, as people have gathered, we sort of take off the training wheels, and now the tutorial part of the game is done. And now at 10th level, which everyone will be when we start our next season, we will see where the players go with few to no guardrails, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Otherwise, you can find me at all the things at On Call GM. If you're going to be at Gen Con, I'm going to be at Gen Con, so I'll see you there. Feel free to stop by the Paizo booth and come check me out. I'll be around. Yeah, it's been great. I'm looking forward to other things and other shows too, and doing other games, and it's going to be great. Bye, everybody.
And of course, I've been your host for this evening. I am ZoranTheBear. I'm returning to streaming, so you can catch me at twitch.tv/ZoranTheBear. Go over, say hi, ask questions about the show and stuff like that. And on July 8th, I don't like dating episodes all too much because people watch this far in the future. But for that, I will be revealing some fun stuff that we're going to be doing for narrative declaration and things that I'm doing. So love you all very much. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful time. And we will see you all next season. Give you updates on the Patreon for free. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.